Hey guys, so today I'm going to be sharing 5 high-end makeup products that are worth the money and 5 that are not worth the money, or at least in my opinion. Now, I'm a little nervous to share some of these that I think are not worth the money because I know so many people love these. A lot of these are like cult favorite products that I just do not get the hype. So you have to promise that you're not going to hate me just because I don't like some of these really popular products, but I'm really excited to get into today's video. Today's video is actually a collab with one of my favorite people here on YouTube, Emily's Makeup Bag. She is such a sweetheart. If you haven't checked her out already, I highly recommend going and checking out her channel. She's also going to be sharing her 5 high-end products that are worth it and 5 that are not in today's video, so definitely go and check out her version of this video as well. If you like my channel, you're bound to like her channel too. She does a really great mix of shopping her stash and using what she has, but also reviewing new products. I just feel like Emily is the kind of person that you want to be around. I haven't actually met her in person, but I feel like she is the kind of person that just puts you in a better mood when you're around her, and that's definitely how her videos make me feel. I always find myself in a good mood when I'm watching her videos. So yeah, go check her out. Tell her I sent you, go watch her video, subscribe to her channel. I really think you will like her. So let's go ahead and start with the products that I think are worth it, and then we'll get into the products that aren't. And I do want to say something that I wanted to really make a point to consider in this video. All of the products that are on my worth it list are ones that I actually bought with my own money. None of these were sent to me in PR. One of them, I was introduced to it via PR, but then I went and bought it myself. And then on my products that are not worth the money to me, all but one I either bought myself or it was like a gift with purchase. Only one of them was sent in PR, but I don't think it's worth the money. I wouldn't buy it myself. So let's go ahead and get into the products. So first high-end product that I think is worth the money, and this is actually one that Emily introduced me to. I bought this because of her. It's the Knobla Skin Glazing Highlighter. Now, I think the shade she really loves the most is Ozone, and that one is still on my wish list. I ended up getting the shade Privilege just because it looked a little bit unique to my collection, and I am so glad I bought this. These highlighters, if you haven't tried them yet, I definitely think they're worth looking into. Now, wait for a sale. Knobla often goes on sale on Ulta's website, either during the 21 Days of Beauty sale or just other times of year, so I was able to get this half off in the 21 Days of Beauty sale last fall. And I'm so glad that I picked this up. This shade in particular is just a really pretty like duochrome, but not over the top duochrome. It's not like iridescent or anything, but it's a really gorgeous, just like peachy golden highlighter. And this is the kind of highlighter that I am really into these days. It's a little bit more subtle. I like to call it kind of like a believable glow that it gives your skin. Like, it doesn't look like you're wearing a stripe of metallic highlighter, which used to be more what I was into. Now I'm just really loving like lit from within, for lack of a better term, you know, kind of natural looking, but still really, really gorgeous and eye-catching at the same time. This one I definitely think is worth it. I want to buy more. I also want to try the bronzer. I'm just kind of waiting for that to go on sale. As soon as I see the bronzer on sale on Ulta's site, I'm gonna get that as well as the shade Ozone, I think, because I just want more. I think the packaging looks really pretty and luxe as well, so that one is definitely worth the money to me. Here's another product. Now, this is really expensive. This is probably the most I've ever spent on a bronzer. Definitely is, actually. I don't know why I said probably. It definitely is. But to me, this is worth the money. And I can say that because I bought it with my own money. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Bronzer in the shade Fair. When I first got this, I wasn't so sure about it, but it has grown on me since then, and I really do love this. It is a huge bronzer. So this retails for, I think, $56, but you get a crap ton of product in here. This comes with 16 grams or 0.56 ounces. That's like at least double what most bronzers come with, so you do get a good bang for your buck. Now, if you're not the kind of person that normally pans products like this, then maybe it wouldn't be worth it for you to have such a giant bronzer in your collection. I don't know. For me, I feel like the value is there with this. I love the packaging. It feels so luxe and sturdy. I also love that this is refillable. So if I use this up and I decide I want to repurchase it, I can just purchase the pan and put it into this same compact. So you can just easily pop it out there through that hole and then pop a new one in, so I can get the replacement for cheaper than if I were to buy this whole compact all over again. So that's one thing I love about it. I wish Charlotte Tilbury would do that with more of their products, have the refillable option, because their packaging is so luxe and gorgeous that like I don't ever want to have to throw this away. I want to be able to keep using it forever. So, and I also just love the bronzer itself. It is matte. I have the shade Fair, which is the lightest shade. This is perfect if you have very fair skin and most bronzers look a little bit too much on you. You can't mess this up. It's just so easy. You can be kind of sloppy with your application if you want, and it'll be fine. It blends in so seamlessly. I also, something about like the wider pan just makes it more fun to me to apply. Like I can just kind of swirl my brush in there. I just really enjoy this. I did get this on sale. I pretty much always get makeup on sale. Like it's rare that I pay full price for a product unless it's like a drugstore product. I might not be as particular about getting it on sale, but with high-end makeup, I always wait for a sale. This I waited until I could get it 20% off, but it's still pricey even with that discount, but to me it is worth the money. I just really enjoy having this in my collection. It just feels like something that I treated myself to, and if this were the only bronzer in my collection, I think I would be happy. So next for an eyeshadow palette that I think is worth the money. This is from an indie brand, but it's definitely what I would consider a high-end price point. And these are like my updated thoughts on this palette because I've had kind of some mixed feelings on this in the past, but I am newly just so in love with this palette. This is the Clarity Cosmetics So Amazing palette. Clarity, I do love their shadows. I have quite a few singles of theirs in my collection as well. They do eyeshadows really well. And this palette is all pastel. It's a mix of 5 mattes and 5 shimmers. And what I really love about this palette is the shimmers. Like, I recently rolled in the shade Oh Ship into my Pan Those Eyeshadows project pan, and I cannot stop using that shade. I'm not wearing it today, but I wore it like almost every single day last week. I did a reel with this shade. This was like the main star of the look. And that's also the look I was wearing in my last Project Pan update. Oh my gosh. I mean, I don't think I have any other shadows in my collection that are this pretty. Like, I think this is probably the prettiest eyeshadow in my entire collection. And I don't know if that swatch is doing it justice, but I don't know how to describe this type of shimmer. It's like it's foiled, but translucent at the same time. It has a beautiful shift to it. And this goes for all the shimmers in this palette, not just this one. This is just the one I've been really into lately, but all of these shimmers have a gorgeous duochrome shift. They have that kind of scattered glimmer that I always look for in a special shimmer shadow. This is like a special shade. You know how people talk about like the Pat McGrath special shadows? These are special. Like, these are some of the most special shimmers I've ever encountered. They make beautiful toppers, but they also make great standalone shadows. Like, there have been a couple times where I've just put that all over my lid, and that's pretty much it. I might put something in my crease. I just cannot get enough of these shimmers, and the mattes are totally great too. I mean, obviously if you don't like pastel eyeshadows, then you probably don't want to get this palette, and I would advise you to just maybe pick out some single shimmers from the Clarity website. But honestly, I feel like this palette is worth the $48 alone just for the shimmers. And like, this isn't the kind of thing I normally would say, but I feel like this palette is worth it for the shimmers alone. If you like the look of these shimmers and you also like to wear the occasional pastel matte shadow, I say go for it. I don't think there's a whole lot on the market right now, aside from like maybe Pat McGrath, which I haven't even tried. They're not a cruelty-free brand, or Natasha Denona maybe. Again, I haven't tried much from them, but I just don't think shimmers this beautiful are that easy to find. It took me a while to really realize that about this palette, but now I'm like, oh my gosh. This has been in my collection for over a year, but I feel like I'm just now kind of discovering the beauty of this palette. So the fourth product that is worth the money to me is a mascara, and this is the only high-end mascara that I think is worth a high-end price tag, at least that I've tried so far. And it's the Urban Decay Lash Freak. So this is one that I did originally try through getting it in PR, but I loved it so much that I then went and bought my own. I do have a mini of it. I do recommend mini mascaras, especially if you're just wanting to try it out for the first time. You can get it for a drugstore price, essentially, and you're able to try it out, and you do get quite a bit of use out of even a mini mascara. I think I've had this open for over a month and it is still going strong. So this is for people who like a very dramatic lash, who maybe want their mascara to make them look like they're wearing false lashes, or you just want something very, very lengthening and volumizing. You don't mind a little bit of clumping at times, because it can be a tiny bit clumpy, but really not bad to me. I mean, I feel like sometimes a few of my lashes will stick together and I can still like work through them and separate them back out with the brush. So I don't really find that annoying, but if that doesn't sound like what you're looking for, then definitely skip this. I don't think it's for everyone. It has a really strange brush. It only has bristles on one side. It kind of looks like a caterpillar or something. It's got like 2 rows of bristles that kind of taper, and then on the tip you have some bristles kind of going all around. So it's a weird brush. I've never seen one quite like it. But to me, the reason this is worth the high-end price tag is because it does things that I have never been able to find in any other mascara, drugstore or high-end. It's just really impressive. Okay, so my 5th high-end product that is worth the money is an oldie but a goodie. I've had this for a while. It has really stood the test of time. This is the Oma Beauty Double Take Contour and Highlight Stick. And, you know, I debated between talking about only like newer products that maybe I haven't talked about as much. This has been in my collection for a while, but I still love it. I still think that this is very much worth the money. This retails for 40 bucks, so it's not cheap. You do get both a contour and a highlight stick, but I've also seen this on the Oma Beauty website on sale for $15 a lot. So I would say just wait until you see it on sale on their website and get it then. I have the lightest shade, which is called White Pearl. These glide on so silky smooth. They also blend out so easily, but even though they're so creamy and smooth, they don't feel tacky or like greasy on your skin. I don't have any issues with these picking up my foundation underneath. The contour is probably my favorite. I do think I use that side more, but I also love the highlighter. The highlighter is kind of like a pinky pearlescent highlighter. It really does give your cheeks like that dewy look, and the contour is just the most perfect neutral contour shade for fair skin. It's not so cool tone that it's gonna look gray on your cheeks, but it's also not gonna look orange. Like, this works really well as like a true contour or as a cream bronzer too. I often will take it up to my forehead. Yeah, I've been loving this ever since I got it like 2 years ago, and I'm still enjoying it so much, and I really do think it's worth the money. Like, this formula definitely does stand out to me over other drugstore cream products that I've tried. So those are the 5 high-end products that to me are worth the money. Now let's get into the 5 products that I think are not worth the money at all. The first high-end product that I think is not worth the money is from Charlotte Tilbury, and this is their Eyes to Mesmerize Single Shadow, specifically in the shade Rose Gold. Now, I definitely still want to try Oyster Pearl because that seems to be the shade that most people find to be the most unique and special and worth the money. But Rose Gold, there's just really nothing special about this shade. I mean, it's just another rose gold eyeshadow to me. That's what it looks like. You know, it's pretty. It's pretty. But is it $30-something for one single shadow pretty? I don't think so. If I'm gonna spend that much on one singular shadow, I want it to have some kind of sparkle to it. I want it to have some kind of shift to it. I want it to somehow stand apart from other shadows in my collection, and I just don't think there's anything really that special about this shade. I do really enjoy the formula. It has this kind of like very soft whipped sort of feeling, different from any other cream shadow I've tried. It's quite soft. I enjoy applying it. I enjoy the experience of using it. I like how it wears. I feel like it kind of sets and it doesn't crease on my eyes as long as I wear a primer underneath. But yeah, from what I've heard about this line of eyeshadows, it's really shade dependent on whether or not it's going to be worth the price tag or not. And I'm kind of wishing I had bought Oyster Pearl rather than Rose Gold because I just don't think Rose Gold is very special at all. But with that being said, I'm still going to use this and enjoy it and get that bougie experience with it because, I mean, it's expensive. Okay, so next I have a product from Kosas that I don't think is worth the money. I got this as a gift with purchase, and I know a lot of people did during their Black Friday sale last year. But they do still sell this, and just in case anyone was considering buying this, I really don't like this. I think I've just determined I don't like this. This is the Kosas Color and Light Pressed Duo in the shade Papaya 1972. It looks like a duo I would like these are tones I would normally like in a blush and a highlighter, but there's a few things I just don't like about this. The main one being the blush. As I wear it, these little red dots will start to appear on my cheeks, and it's just not an attractive look. It's really not what I'm going for. I don't want red dots all over my face. That's definitely not the goal of putting on blush. So I've heard that that has to do with the fact that there's carmine in this formula, but there's carmine in a lot of makeup, and I think this is the first time I've ever had a product do that to me. So I don't know, but to me that's kind of a deal breaker in and of itself. It doesn't happen every time. It seems to happen more often when I'm wearing it on top of like a moisturizing or hydrating foundation, but I don't want to have to bend over backwards and like really adjust the products I'm using just to make a blush work when like blush should not be that hard to formulate, and there are so many other blushes in my collection that I don't have that problem with. So I'm not gonna mess around with, oh, let me try pairing it with this different foundation instead. Like, no, like I just want it to work no matter what foundation I'm wearing. So, especially if it's $34. And then the highlighter side, it's like very oddly subtle, yet very powdery. Both of these are very powdery. Highlighter, very powdery, a nice subtle sheen, but it has such a yellowy undertone on my skin that it just doesn't look flattering. I have tried mixing the two together to make like a lighter blush. Oh, and the blush side I also find it's almost too pigmented. Like I have to be so careful with this. It doesn't look like this would be the kind of color that would look too much on my cheeks because it's not that deep of a color for me, but for some reason it just like it goes on so strong, and then like the place that I first apply it, it's like that's where it wants to stick, and then I have to work really hard to get it to blend, and it still kind of looks blotchy on my face. So it's just a tricky formula to work with. I tried mixing the two together to make kind of like a lighter blush, and I still found it equally tricky to work with as far as just the blotchiness. And yeah, so for all those reasons, I really don't like this, so I don't think it's worth the money at all. Glad I didn't actually buy it because I got it as a gift with purchase, but word of warning to you. I've heard that the cream versions of these duos are better. Those look really nice, but the powder one I would skip. Alright, so back to Charlotte Tilbury. I know this is probably going to upset some people, and I'm sorry. I really wanted to like this. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless filter. Now, let me be clear here. I'm not saying I hate this. I mean, I actually don't mind it. I like it. I'm gonna use it up because I bought it. I'm glad I only got the mini, but I got the shade Fair. I do like that this comes in quite a few shades because it does have like a tint to it. It can be used in a lot of different ways. I just haven't found a way to use this that I really feel like changes the game for me. And again, it's so expensive. It needs to do something really special in order to be worth the price tag. So this is the kind of thing that you can use for a lot of different purposes. You can use it as a coverage product, but it's very glowy, like near highlighter level glowy if you want to do that. You can wear it as a highlighter. You can wear it as a primer. You can mix it with your foundation. I mean, there's all kinds of things. The sky's the limit with this product. But I don't know. I don't have anything against it, but I just haven't really been able to find a way to use it that I feel like my skin is any better off than it was if I just hadn't used it. I've tried it in a lot of different ways. I've tried it under foundation, I've tried it as a highlighter, I've tried it under my under eye concealer. It's pretty. It doesn't mess up my makeup, but it also just doesn't really add a whole lot. And I'm also not really a glowy primer kind of person. I just don't see the point in a glowy primer. I just feel like maybe I'm missing something here, and I'm gonna keep using it. Maybe one day I'll figure out what's so great about it, but so far, I can just kind of take it or leave it. So that's why I feel like it's not worth the money. So speaking of glowy products that I just don't think are worth the money, this is the Glow Recipe Watermelon Glow Niacinamide Dewdrops. So many people love these. So many people also feel like they're not worth the money. Like it just kind of really depends. This is a serum, essentially. It's a niacinamide serum. Some people treat it more like a makeup primer, but really this should be something that you apply in the serum step of your skincare routine. Like you're going to want to apply this before moisturizer and or sunscreen. And once again, I mean, yes, it gives the skin a really pretty glow, but it's nothing that I couldn't also get from one of my many favorite glowy sunscreens, the Pipette SPF 50, the Paula's Choice Essential Glow Sunscreen. Like I'm really not looking to my serum to give me a glow. That just doesn't really make sense to me. So, and it's not like this is going to be the only like skin prep product that I'm putting on. I'm going to be layering this with at least with a sunscreen. So I just feel like my sunscreen is going to either add to the glow or it's going to take away the glow if I'm wearing a matte sunscreen. So as far as skincare benefits, I don't think you need to spend this amount of money on a niacinamide serum. Niacinamide is also in like every skincare product that exists now, basically. Like it's in most moisturizers. If you want a separate niacinamide serum, The Ordinary makes a really affordable one. Lots of brands make affordable ones. So I just don't really need like a strong watermelon scented niacinamide serum that happens to give my skin a little bit of a glow. So the final product that to me is not worth the money. I bought this because of all of the hype that it gets, and I don't know, I was kind of let down. I don't know what I was expecting, but I was just kind of let down. It's the Kosas Cloud Set Powder. I have the shade Airy. This is a baked pressed powder, and the first thing about this that a lot of people have mentioned already in their reviews and stuff, but it does get hard pan really, really easily, which is common with baked products, but I mean, I've had plenty of baked products in the past that didn't do that, so I don't know. To me, it's like, geez, it's a lot of extra hassle for a product that was already so expensive, and periodically I have to go over it with tape to like remove that layer. Similar to like the Charlotte Tilbury products, it's not like this is a bad product. I will enjoy using this up. I mean, you know, it's not bad by any means, but I just don't think it's worth the money. Now, this is coming from someone that is kind of indifferent towards most powders. Like, I'm pretty easy to please when it comes to powders. But I just have, you know, other drugstore powders that I love. I love the CoverGirl Clean Fresh pressed powder in the pink compact, and I love the e.l.f. Halo Glow, and I just think those two, that's all I need. I have a good loose powder that I love and a good pressed powder that I love. This, it is pretty. I think what people love about it is that it's supposed to be very like blurring, and it almost gives you this like filtered look on your skin. I just don't see anything that remarkable in it when I apply it to my skin. Like, yeah, it looks fine. It doesn't look heavy or cakey, but I have drugstore powders that I also feel like look, you know, blurring, and they don't look heavy and cakey, like the two I just mentioned. So I say skip this one. At least try the other two I mentioned first. If those don't work for you, maybe you would like this. But for me, like, the hard pan issue in and of itself is enough for me to just like not recommend it, because that's just like, why? Why does it have to be like that? Most other products aren't like that, so those are my 5 high-end products that are worth the money and the 5 that are not. Be sure to check out Emily's makeup bag and her video as well. I'll have that link down below if you want to check her out. Thank you to Emily for collabing with me on this video, and thank you to all of you for watching. If you enjoyed it, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Let me know if you've tried these products. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? I'd love to hear about your experiences with these products in the comments below. That's all for today. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you've not already. Also, feel free to check out my Patreon, which is linked down below as well. But otherwise, I hope you all have an amazing rest of your day, and I will talk to you again very soon in my next video. Bye.